I'm Gadavel Schneider, and this is Here We Are podcast. We are speaking to you from Berlin, Germany, and this is Here We Are's first Artists on Artists podcast. And I'm very excited to be here with my fellow actor colleague who has flown all the way from Seoul, which is insanely nice of you.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It was not just around the corner. I came here with the S-Bahn, here with the plane. Great. Hyun-Jun, welcome back to Berlin.
Oh, hello.
So great. Yeah, I know you have been a couple of times to Berlin,
Yes.
and this is a very special city to you.
So,
How come?
Berlin makes me feel breathe or 아무튼 뭐라 그럴까 베를린에 오면 좀 살아있는 것 같아요. 왜 그런지 모르겠어.
Okay. Is it the bad weather or is it the
I like
not
this
so
weather.
good?
Great
You do?
Berlin. I love it.
So what would you expect in Seoul right now? It's warm and damp.
It's similar but more warm.
Okay. So you enjoy the cold and gray and windy, rainy.
Makes me feel alive.
Yeah, okay. I know. I don't know why. So because it puts a force on you to
Yes, true.
yes. Okay, yeah. Well, it's not too comfortable. Maybe that's really an interesting thing about Berlin, right? That it provokes some, how you say it, you have to really put out there to get through it. Because
And I love space.
yes,
Yes. 공간이 있어요. 베를린은. 점점 한국이나 어떤 빨리 돌아가고 뭔가 효율적인 사회에서는 공간이 없어지고 있다는 느낌이 들거든요. 근데 베를린에 오면 공간을 느끼고 공간이 있어요. 그래서 숨을 쉴 수 있을 것 같은 느낌.
yeah, that's right. It's relatively less amount of people, just 4 million. Well, it's basically nothing. And we have a lot of space. I read somewhere that it's like the same area as New York City or something, but it's way less crowded. And we have a lot of green. That is true. Also, it's something I like about.
처음에는 독일 사람들이 커서 공간이 있는 거라고 생각했어.
But do you think it's there's maybe that would be a big hope that the space you have in the city, that it somehow resembles, like, is there a mental space thing as well? You know, like it is a relatively creative city. I mean, it's not very efficient. I mean, it's the trains are never on time, and there are so many constructions to everything. Is there a street that is already built, or do we not have that? But it's relatively packed with all different kinds of art that I would describe it like that. That's something I really like about this city. I don't want to brag, but I like it about it.
아시안에 온 적이 있어요? Have you been to Asian country?
Yes, we have been to China with the three penny. To be to Shanghai and Beijing a couple of years ago. I spent a little time in Tokyo, but unfortunately, I've never been to Seoul. But that's really high up on my list. And I had an incredible experience of, I would also say, of freedom in this, in this kind of concrete jungle cities, and they're so busy, and there's a sense of vanishing and just going with it, and it's so many different things hitting on you. I loved it. I really loved being there and having this feeling of I jump into a river of people and I just swim through there, and I loved it. It's incredible, and I mean, still it's also full of art, of course.
Oh, okay. You want Venice?
What do you want? I mean, there's something to it, I think. Would you agree that something really enjoyable about these big cities is that if you don't want to, nobody looks at you.
Yeah, on one. Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, it's we make a living from people looking at us, and it's really fine. But sometimes it's just,
그래서 제가 배우 하면서 한 10년 전에 배우는 약간 사라지는 직업이다라고 들은 적이 있어요.
to like, I mean, of course it's. And also, I read something similar that that to the art of becoming somebody else. There's, of course, there has to be a certain part of your brain, very functional, that vanishes, or that makes for a certain time your own personality disappear. I don't know if that's true, but I think it's interesting, and it could also be something that that's an interesting gift about what we do. That just if I'm annoyed with myself,
그게 참 신기한 것 같다.
I can like switch it off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
근데 내가 정확하게 있어야 사라질 수 있지. 내가 진짜 사라지면 내가 없어지는 거기 때문에 또 그건 또 아닌 게 참 아이러니하면서 재밌어요. 배우라는 직업이.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is for you, but how do you mix it?
What?
There's something.
Me.
Yes, there has to be something really strange to you, or something really foreign, or I don't know how to say it, but and how do you put the ingredients? Because I have the feeling that in German theater, or in movies probably as well, there is a certain tendency that it's very well liked to have a lot of yourself in every character that you play, which is, I don't want to judge it, but I want to say it's good or bad. It's just, I think it's more like that, and I have the feeling in other countries, in like the Anglo-Saxon countries or something, there's a different tendency that you do another accent that is not yourself, and how's that tradition?
약간 인간에 대한 관심이다. 약간 그냥 요새는 내가 불편하면 이 사람 안 만나면 되는 시대인 것 같은데, 연극의 가장 좋은 이유는 이 사람하고 어떻게든 이거 쇼부를 쳐야 되는, 안 그러면 무대에서 다 티가 나니까. 무대는 너무 솔직한 공간이라서.
I had the impression that this is a German style to not change too much as an actor. To be like, I'm like that, and then it's not really fair, because it's probably not 100% true. It's just a tendency I sometimes feel.
그래서 저는 이런 적이 있어요. 처음에 연기를 하는데, 제가 어렸을 때 선배님이랑 같은 씬을 상대 역으로 해야 되는데, 그냥 이거 듣고 그냥 줄여서 말씀해 주세요. 이 얘기를 해야 되는데, 이 씬은 내가 생각했을 때는 이 씬은 굉장히 슬픈 씬이었어. 근데 이 사람이 생각했을 때는 이 씬은 되게 뭐라 그럴까, 웃는 씬이라고 생각하는 거예요. 내 인생에서 이 씬을 바라봤을 때는 분명히 슬펐는데, 이 사람이 얘기했을 때는, 이 사람 얘기 들어보니까 이 사람 삶에서 이게 웃을 수 있는 이야기인 것 같아. 그럼 뭐가 진실이지? 라는 고민이 있었고, 이때 나중에 깨닫게 된 게, 이 사람의 얘기를 듣고 내가 이 씬은 슬플 수도 있지만 웃을 수도 있구나라는 걸 이 사람을 이해하니까 알게 된 것 같아요. 그래서 내가 넓어지고, 그게 캐릭터를 만나는 데 있어서 되게 중요하게 됐던 것 같아요.
Isn't that like the perfect situation? Yeah, right. If two people meet and they have completely different perceptions, and because one perspective on something can never be entirely true, and if two actors meet and they see it differently, they negotiate and they fight for the truth of the moment. And I think when that happens, it's great.
What is your method? What is the method? In this situation, what is your decision?
I would think
negotiate or fight, or what is your style?
convince. I'd say.
Really?
Convincing. I fight as maybe way too. It sounds way too violent, but I mean there is a certain fight of what are you going to do? What am I going to? It should never be aggressive. I think because it should always stay open. No, but maybe I can change your perception of the scene in a good. I don't know. So how did you solve the situation?
그 상대방을 이해하려고 이 사람은 진짜 노력해요. 내가 불편해도.
Yeah, I mean it's broadening the horizon to. I mean, I can make experiences I never had before. I think, oh, this is probably how that person that is not me, but it's a character I play. How someone like that would think or would. I mean, it's an exercise in empathy, if you want to, which is amazing about what we do, and there's always, and I think this is more what I was referring to. There is always also the layer of professional artists meeting in one room and debating about how are we going to do what we're about to do, and which is, well, it's the more stressful level. I don't know how it is for you. I was wondering also if in the Korean theater system, are you like always surrounded with new colleagues for every production, or are you like bound to one particular theater with all the various productions that they do, or how does that work?
매번 다른 사람을 만나야 된다. 근데 독일에서는 왜 하루마다 공연을 바꾸는 거지? 약간 효율성이 떨어진다고 생각하는데 이걸 하는 이유가 있나?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. It's a unique, I think. Well, maybe we have to do a fact check here, but I think it's a very unique system in Germany that you are, as an actor, you are an employee of your theater.
Yes,
and so it happens that I don't do one production at the Berlin Ensemble, one at this, blah, blah, blah. It's also existing, but it's mostly it's the case that I do all my productions at the Berlin Ensemble. And I have like 11 different shows running.
11.
All there. And today it's this one, and then it's 2 shows of 3 penny opera, and then it's and so forth. So forth. So it's really, yeah, and the shows, they always change. They have so they stall the stages, and that they build up one, and we do one show of this production, and then they change the set again to another show. Wow. Well,
this is traditional thing.
It is apparently in Germany, because we get a lot of funding.
Yeah.
So the theaters do not have the pressure of, they don't get only the money they sell with tickets, but they also are funded broadly. And so they have like a contract with the government that they have to supply the city of Berlin with a lot of theater, with a lot of different shows.
Yeah.
So the Berlin Ensemble has a repertoire of about 60 different shows that we could do now. And so we have to always change, and we are not allowed to do just one show too many times in a run, which is, well, Yeah, it's really unique, I think,
Yeah.
because most of the places I go and which theater you always have long runs of shows, which makes sense because you don't have to change the sets, you don't have to, you know, uh, once you did rehearsal time of something, you do the shows. Um, which I envy sometimes because you
really.
because you don't have to do all the changes. You can like really dive into it, like almost like doing a big movie where you say, I can stay in this character for like months.
Yeah.
I can really take a deep dive. Actually, I mean, I get rid of my costume and I wear another costume tomorrow. So and sometimes yeah, I wish after the premiere or something that I could stay with it for longer. But do you know the other effect? You know, vice versa that you say like, but now I played it there's so many times. This, can I do something different now, please?
Especially if 벨리 앙상블 배우들이 굉장히 뭔가 훈련된 느낌을 전 받거든요. 그거 극장 안에서 그런 프로그램이 있는 건지 아니면 그런 배우들을 뽑는 건지 궁금해요.
No. Well, there's a lot of physical training in acting school, and well, let me put it like this. So last season I did 130 shows.
130 show?
Yes. So I did not need additional training. So, but yeah, it's absolutely weird sports and I mean, I do a lot for voice, and this is I think it's important because I used to start the Berlin Ensemble and with the Three Penny Opera. And I had a certain kind of arrogance that I thought, I don't know, I can do it.
Okay.
And I did the third show of Three Penny Opera, and usually nothing of the it was just cracking and nothing. And I said, okay, I really have to do something.
요새 마이크를 많이 쓰는 편이냐? 내가 보면서 궁금했던 게 옛날에 마이크를 안 써서 배우가 어떤 에너지를 갖고 연기하는 게 굉장히 중요했는데 요새 마이크를 쓰면서 배우들이 전달력이 편해지면서 그만큼의 에너지를 약간 다른 쪽으로 쓰기 시작하면서 나는 연극이 갖고 있는 매력이 좀 떨어졌다라고 생각하는데 여기에 대해서 어떻게 생각하는지 궁금해.
Yes, I agree. It is. You should never rely on it. I think because I know what interests directors about it. I mean, you can do an effect, but I think I want to be the effect. You know, I want to do it. I want to provoke a certain. I want to be in charge and in control of how my voice sounds, and yeah. But sometimes it has also when you're touring and all of a sudden we're playing in Shanghai at this huge venue. This is like, I could never do it without. I have to be honest. Yeah, it's just too big. So this has practical reasons, and because also sometimes the orchestra's really loud. But for a pure acting piece, I would always say, no. Why should we? Why should I totally agree. I would never. Because the thought alone that I don't need to give as much voice is making you a little comfortable, and I think that's you have to be calm and you have to be relaxed, but not comfortable.
Yeah, sure.
I think.
Yeah, sure.
So, how's it for you? I mean, you said a little bit about it, but you're also like the use of your voice as a big specialty of yours. So
요새 한국도 거의 마이크를 쓰고 하는데 영화에서 우리 한국에서 유명한 배우들이 카메라나 우리도 왔다 갔다 하지만 이 연극을 하는 사람들이 카메라에 넘어갔을 때 영화나 매체에 넘어갔을 때 다른 점이 있어요. 그게 이 공간을 장악하고 있다는 거거든요. 그게 난 카메라에 안 보일 줄 알았는데 카메라 감독들은 그걸 하는 배우들한테 되게 고마워하더라고요. 그게 그걸.
Well, let me ask you a little bit about how's the Korean theater landscape. I mean, probably it's very based in Seoul, but is there, you went to acting school there, or
난 액팅 스쿨은 아니었고 베르냥은 극단 출신이에요. 저는. I studied. My major is documentary production.
okay.
Yes, I changed my life.
Yeah, after this, yes. But and how does that happen? I mean, it's very, I mean, it's very structured here, but that also makes it, there's a downside to it that makes it kind of stiff. Maybe that this is the way you finish school and you go to acting school and you start at the theater, or you do your first movie and it's this. And if you want to do musical theater, you do a different educational way. So it's very, I think there's something very German to it, that it's this. So and I mean, of course, there's a long theater tradition, which is nice, which makes a lot of pieces. But yeah, it's also can be kind of conservative, and everything new is at first strange. And so I wonder, how is it for you? How's that going in Seoul? And this, what kind of training, but also which kind of theaters and program is there up and running?
옛날에 사실 이런 얘기하면 좀 이건 편집해야 되나? 학교에서 연기를 배우는 거는 그렇게 큰 도움이 되진 않는데 제 생각에는 약간 현실에서 이 사람들하고 부딪히면서, 옛날에는 극단이 한국에는 이렇게 있어가지고 그 극단에서 거의 생존 연기처럼 배우는 게 저한테는 되게 남아있는 거지, 학교에서 배우는 시스템하고 좀 다른 것 같다.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long tradition for I think Michael Caine.
Yes,
Michael Caine, he said acting school is like, it's like it's like doing a driver's license. You know all the rules, you know where everything is, but does not make you a driver necessarily. So I think there's a good image for it. And we have in the acting school in Berlin where I went, you have a lot of education that you get. It's great. It's great, and it's from the state, so you don't have to pay anything for it. But you go out there and you think, I know, and I own the theater world, and then you realize, oh no, it's a different kind of training that starts after you leave. Just, I think it's maybe in every profession quite alike, but yeah. I mean, you do training for the voice and some physical stuff, and you get quite an education about the historical background of theaters, which is also, I think it's interesting to have this theoretical background. And I am a fan of this classical education and training that you get, because whatever you decide to do afterwards, it's something you have, and you know how it works, and you know your body can do certain things that may be required or not. So, but if I want to be an performance artist, a classical actor for camera or for stage, a musical actor, whatever, I mean, a friend of mine once said the acting school will also help you in assembling furniture. You know, it skills you like in so many ways.
어떤 종류의 신체 트레이닝을 해요? 한국에서는 천천히 걷기 이런 거.
Continue the atmosphere. You know, it's like, yeah, it was great.
Is it?
I had for the, the body control.
Yes, and 동양은 땅이 중요하고 서양은 하늘이 중요하다고 들었어. 이게 다른 점이라고. 그래서 우리는 땅을 잘 딛는 거에 약간 포커스를 맞춘다. 걷는 것에 있어서.
That's interesting. I never heard that. That's really interesting.
Yes.
With the ground and earth, because the classical
Yes.
European theaters is here. uh, I heard how's it this Japanese theater master. I forgot.
Kabuki, no.
No, he worked a lot with Peter Brook. Yoshida. Really is
my favorite.
Yet it's incredible. And well, there's this story. I don't know if I can if I recollect it right, but apparently there's this scene where he lost his wife or something, and he goes over this bridge and looks into the water, and then goes back off. And after the show, a man comes to him and says, "Wow, this was so incredible! How did you do that?" He said, "Well, I walked up there, turned, I looked, and I went." So, and the tragedy and whatever, it's created by the circumstance.
Right. 요시 아이다가 이렇게 얘기한 거야. 그 일본에 엄청 유명한 배우가 2명 있었는데 진짜 노인인데 관객들이 2명을 너무 좋아하는데 한 배우는 똑같이 달을 가리키는 동작을 하는데 한 배우는 그 동작이 너무 아름다워서 관객들이 눈물을 흘리고 나머지 한 배우가 달을 가리키는 동작을 하면 관객들이 다 달을 쳐다본다고. 과연 너는 어떤 배우가 될 거냐고 묻는 이게 내 연기 인생에 있어서 가장 큰 전환점이었다. 그래서 배우는 사라지는 직업이라고 얘기하는 게 아까 얘기했던 그 이유다. 요시아이다. 내가 너무 좋아한다. 내가 너무 좋아해요.
Yeah, I heard this one. It's fantastic.
Yes. What do you want to be?
Yeah. So it's a question of realism, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like if you point something behind the audience and they really look, even though they know there's nothing there.
Yeah.
That's
you fake that, like that.
You know, like you could point in there, like, yeah, I know, you pretend for that moment, you know, that they feel something or want to see something, even though they know it's not there. That would be great, I think.
Okay.
So which one would you want to be?
저는 그때 어렸을 때 배우를 너무 늦게 시작했으니까 잘 보고 싶고 내가 너무 잘하고 싶고 막 내가 막 액팅하면 사람들이 막 다 기절했으면 좋겠고 이랬을 때 그런 생각을 갖고 연기를 막 했었는데 이걸 보고 배우는 관객한테 뭔가를 보여주고 정작 자신은 사라지는 게 맞구나라는 생각을 했다. 그래서 난 그쪽으로 가고 있다. 가고 있어요.
Would you say that you use a particular method? Or do you do what, you know, because I get asked this sometimes and I think probably, yeah, but I could not pinpoint it because you do what is required or how I think I will get the best result.
나는 육감을 쓰길 원해. 결국 연기가 잘 될 때는 무의식의 세계로 어떻게 빨리 들어가느냐의 문제인 것 같아. 육감을 쓰려면 처음엔 감정이 중요하다고 생각했는데 연기를 하면 할수록 감각이 중요하구나를 깨닫게 되는 것 같고 이 오감을 잘 써야지 육감에 도달할 수 있어. 이게 어렵지만 그 세계에 도달하는 순간 난 자유와 어떤 세계와의 접촉 이런 걸 느끼게 되는 것 같아.
It's interesting what you say because I think yes, of course there are, you know, you think about how do you say texts. Maybe how you say a text really lies in how you listened to somebody else's text before, and there's always a question of how much chaos can you do you allow yourself? How much do you want to control what is going to happen, and how much can you say, well, I go out today and I don't know how it's going to be, and I I don't know. I tried them to, you rehearsed and you learned your lines, and then you say, okay, now I'm ready to see how it's really gonna go.
너는 정돈된 삶을 살았어? 아니면 이 혼돈된 삶을 살았어?
I know I mean, sometimes I'm not on time or I'm late for an appointment or something. But apart from that, I have a very, organized. I don't want to say boring standards. Standardly organized life that I really enjoy, that I love, and but for that, it's a nice addition to have this job where it's about organized chaos. It's as I wanted to. There's this German, very important theater mind. He's an author and director. Heiner Müller, and he said it's theater is controlled madness. I think this is right on the money.
그래서 배우는 막 살아야 돼? 아니면 컨트롤하면서 살아야 돼?
I think he should. I mean, for most people, in most jobs, it's probably you're very organized at your job and you go mad the rest of the time. Maybe we should do it the other way around. I think there are a million ways to do it. I don't want to. I could never tell anyone how's the right way. Would you say there is a particularly right way
Yes.
for going about it? I don't know.
뭔가 내 욕망대로 막 하고 사람들이 뭐라고 해도 그거는 맞지 않아. 그거는 도덕적이지 않아. 아니면 그거는 다른 사람한테 피해가 가는 거야. 라고 하는 거를 점점 못하게 되는 사회인 것 같아. 근데 이게 사실 우리 배우나 어떤 인간들한테는 인간이 주는 매력은 부족함이고 약간 그런 건데 그런 걸 실수할 수 있고 그런 거에 있어서 올인할 수 있는 사람이 필요한 것 같은데 점점 그런 게 없어지는 게 좀 아쉬워서 물었어.
Speaking of the right ways and to,
You like Jesus or you like the devil, for example? What way?
the devil,
Yeah.
yeah, to play,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, of course. That's the devil's always more fascinating.
Sophisticated and attractive
to act.
devil.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
And Jesus is
And
boring.
it's also because I think it's interesting to, I rather play somebody who's very different from me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know me. I want to play somebody I don't know, where I don't know how it is to be that person. Maybe the devil. I don't know. But I was wondering this, Sarah. You when you come here to see theater, what are things? What would you like from here to take and to give to Korean theater, and the other way around? What would you, when you see a show here, say, you really would have to? I would love to bring this particular part to European theater, and I think you don't see enough. Or
잘 트레이닝된 신체. 나는 연극이 몸이 너무 중요하다고 생각한다. 연극이 갖고 있는 매력은 사람이 갖고 있는 몸이 너무 중요하기 때문에. 그리고 이 독일만이 갖고 있는 약간의 디스턴스가 있어요. 너무 인투되지 않는 그 디스턴스가 주는 힘, 사유하는 힘이 있는 것 같아요. 그리고 그걸 표현하는 데 있어서 좀 독특한 분장과 의상 그리고 무대 미술이 있어요. 이게 전부 다인 것 같지만 어쨌든 이걸 갖고 가고 싶어. 한국은 진짜 뜨거운 마음이 있다. 한국의 진짜 장점이고 그리고 많은 탤런트가 있지만 이 뜨거운 마음이랑 감성 혹은 이게 너무 있는 게 너무 장점인데 독일에 이런 점을 갖고 오면 너무 좋은 것 같아. 섞이면.
I mean, what you're talking about is Brecht tradition, the distance, the showing something. It's really important, but yeah, it has this downside that it could lead to a little lack of emotion. And yeah, so it would be great to bring it together, of course.
Yeah.
I was wondering about what you said about the art on stage, because I think isn't there also like in the I mean I just think about classical, so Japanese traditional theaters, and I don't know how big their influence is on what you do, but isn't there also like very big aestheticism, kind of beauty in the set and costume? Isn't that something in the Asian theater world that has a big part?
중요하다기보다는 한국은 살짝 내추럴한 걸 요새 선호하고 있는데 연극적인 면에 있어서 이런 스타일의 걸 갖고 오고 싶은 거예요. 내추럴도 분명 매력이 있거든요. 자연스러움이 주는 매력 있는 그대로. 근데 이런 연극성을 갖고 있는 의상과 이런 것들을 갖고 와서 이것도 하나의 연극성으로 제시하고 싶은 마음이 있어요. 이게 주는 힘이 또 다른 면이 있다고 생각하거든요.
And is it because I have the feeling that right now the best movies in the world, they come from Korea, and a lot of cultural things. It's really getting big and incredible, and there's so much creative potential. Is this the same for theater as well? Does it also make? Is there also a boom?
왜냐하면 한국 영화에서 메인 롤을 맡고 있는 분들이 연극 출신이기 때문에 그들이 갖고 있는 힘이 영화에서 발휘되고 있는 거고, 그리고 그걸 통해서 영화가 붐이기 때문에 그렇게 해서 유명해진 배우들이 지금 이쪽으로 넘어오고 있다. 그런 영향을 서로 미치고 있다. 그 연극은 한국에서 대중적이지 않아요. 이렇게 독일처럼 많은 사람들이 저녁 먹고 그냥 연극이나 볼까 이렇지 않아. 굉장히 스페셜한 일이고 1년에 한 번 보기도 힘든 사람들 대부분이다. 그래서 유명한 사람이 연극을 하는 게 연극을 알리기엔 좋지만 기존에 연극하던 사람들이 자리가 없어지는 이 두 가지 좋은 점과 단점들이 막 지금 일어나고 있는 시점이다.
What could happen if, because as you said, which I would agree, in Germany it is kind of like divided, but if you look to the United States, or I mean like the big Broadway productions and West End, they also live from some kind of a circle industry where people, once they get big in the theater branch, they go do movies and they come back, but they play on Broadway as movie stars. And so this is not do you think this is also something that could happen in this Korean theater world now, that people are getting famous with these incredible good movies, and then they come back and they, I don't know, do a Hamlet or whatever, the National Theater? Yeah, so I don't know. Is it a good thing because it helps us, or does it make? Is there a lack of independence for theaters that we rely on famous movie stars?
근데 어떤 배우가 되고 싶어요?
Well, it's a big question. I want to. Why did we get into this field, right? Why do you become an actor? There is some psychological deformation, apparently, and it's like the idea that there are hundreds of people sitting there, and I have the chance to really get into their hearts or minds or whatever. It's a fascinating idea to move them to, And also, I love the moment that I have the power to make an entire room of people laugh. And this is what I love. And I want this immediacy of reaction, I think this is one of my goals, or this is what I would, what kind of actor I wanted to be. I don't aspire something like I want to deliver texts in the most specific ways, or I mean, there are thousands of things you could probably want, but I think it's that I want to really get, and I want to get it back immediately.
Oh, sure.
I want them to love me or hate me or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Please, no, the opposite of love is indifference, and that's really what I want. So right back at you. What makes you go up there and
점점 좀 웃긴 얘기긴 하지만 영적이고 싶어. 그러기 위해서 뭘 해야 되는지 계속 고민 중이야. 내가 좋아하는 말 중에 셰익스피어가 연극은 이 시대를 살아가는 이 관객들 사람들한테 그 영혼의 거울을 들이미는 일이어야 된다라고 했는 그 말이 되게 좋아하거든. 그리고 한국에서 배우란 말은 배는 사람이 아니다라는 뜻이고 우는 이 걱정 근심하면서 걸어가는 사람을 뜻해. 그래서 배우란 말은 사람이 아닌데 정말 사람 같은 사람을 배우라고 해. 이게 한국에서 가는 배우란 말의 뜻이야. 이 말이 난 너무 좋고 사람이 아닐 수 있을 만한 어떤 영적인 힘이 있어야 된다고 생각해서 그 힘을 가지려면 어떻게 해야 되나 굉장히 고민하고 있어.
And would you describe there a moment of I acted, and I mean where you acted, and you had a moment of I don't know, spiritual fulfillment, or we say that was it?
사실은 모든 순간에 있어. 그래서 한국에 있는 배우를 가르치는 선생님들이 늘 배우는 진짜 잘 살아야 돼. 이 좋은 사람이 진짜 좋은 배우가 돼라고 했던 말이 무슨 말인지 이제 알 것 같아. 그래서 계속 아무것도 아닌 곳에서 굉장히 소중한 걸 발견할 수 있는 힘을 키우려고 해, 배우로서.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was it for today. So great. Thank you so much for coming all the way from Stola and saying it's so nice.
So nice.
So nice to have this conversation.
Yes. Meeting with someone in person is important, I think.
Yes.
Yes, sure.
And doing the same thing, like, well, we could not be much further apart.
Yes.
Like, in terms of distance, geographically.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you.
Here we are. Thank you.
Here we are.